So let's create something a little bit more complex this time. We're still going to be using only the primitives, but we're going to do something a little bit different. So far, the way we have been working is to go here in the polymodeling shelf, and then we click a primitive like a cube, and then we get the cube in the center of the screen. That's the default way Maya operates, and that's going to work for any of the other primitive. So if you get the sphere, you're gonna get a sphere here in the center. If you get a cone, you're gonna get a cone here in the center. So they always gonna be in the center, and they're gonna have this like default standard size. But we can work in a different way here, and this alternative way sometimes it's better depending of the model you wanna create. So we can come here in the create menu, go to polygon primitives, and then we are going to check this interactive creation. If you click this, now if I click my cube, I won't get the cube. Maya is gonna ask me to drag the base on the grid. So it doesn't need to be in the center, and it doesn't need to be a square now. It could be a rectangle. So let me do this here. So I'm gonna click and drag, and I'm gonna create this base here. And then Maya is gonna ask me to pull up the height. So I'm gonna drag up the height, and then I get my primitive, which is not a cube anymore. Now it could be a wall. So this is very useful if you're doing architectural visualization, if you're doing environment design where you need to put stuff in a more precise place in the scene. So you don't want to have to create a cube and then move and change the form. So this is very useful, and it's gonna work with most of the primitives. So you have like a ball, a sphere here, so it's gonna ask you to draw the radius, and then you're gonna get the sphere. For the cone and the cylinder is gonna be similar. First radius, then you go up for the height. Let me go up here. Torus. First we drag on the grid, then we're gonna edit the section, and then we have the torus. Even works with some of the extended primitives. If you right click in this guy here, we're gonna get some options here. You could select the pipe. The pipe can create it interactively too. So you click and drag for the radius, and then you drag the height, and now you drag to add thickness. So it's like a cylinder with a hole. Very useful depending what you want to create. So that's a new way of using the primitives, and this can be very useful. So let's try to create something new here using this. So I think I'm gonna create a house here. So let's start with a ground plane. So we click and drag to create our ground. Then I'm gonna create the base of the house. It's gonna be something, I don't know, something like this. Looking good. And now for the roof of the house, I want to create a pyramid, which is one of the extended primitives. So I'm gonna look here in the top. I'm gonna change from the shaded to the wireframe view, and I'm gonna right click pyramid. So the pyramid is not very interactive in comparison to the other ones. You can only, it works more like the sphere. So I'm gonna select where it's gonna be the center of the pyramid, and I'm gonna click and drag, and I need something like this to cover the top here. So I'm gonna rotate this a little bit like here. We can go to the channel box, and we can type here 90 not 90, actually 45. And then we get the way we want it here. And now I can move this up. So I have my roof here, and we can actually scale this down, just this. And now I'm gonna go like here. So we have our roof, and we could create like a fence around the house. Let's imagine is a living fence, like made of plants. So we're gonna actually just create some rectangle, like some solids with the cube primitives, and we're gonna later paint in green. So we're gonna get this here, and I'm gonna move this, click and drag. It's gonna be just this tall. Now another one. And another one. And okay, now let's create like door and windows for our little house here. So we could just draw here and then try to approximate what we're gonna be creating here. But we have a very powerful snap system in Maya, and we could create another primitive on top of another primitive that we already have in the scene. To do this, you need to select the object that's going to be your reference. And then you're going to have to go here and click this guy here. Make the selected object live. So if I click this, he's going to be live. You know he's live because you have his name here, this pCube1. Now if I click my cube tool here, looks what is gonna happen here. I can come here, click here, and click and drag. And now I can pull this, and we have our door here. And I can do the same thing for the window. We're gonna do the same for the other windows here. So it's gonna be kind of here. And same here. And finally here. Okay, I'm good. Maybe I can scale this up a little bit more. I wasn't happy with the size, something like this. And so far so good. So let's create some materials, some light, and render an image of our house. Before we do anything, let's turn off the live object. We just click this, and we don't have the name of the object anymore. The object is back to be now it's back to being a normal object. So let's apply some materials. Let's click the hypershade here. And I have the basic materials that I had created for the train tutorial. We can create any new materials here. Remember, go to Maya, surface, select a type of material. In this case, we have been working with Lambert. And then you can create any material here. You can type this, let's call house. And you can change here the color. I'm gonna select something that, I don't know, it's kind of beige, something like this. And okay, I'm gonna use this for the wall, house wall. And instead of Lambert, I'm actually gonna create a blend, so I have a little bit of highlight like the other ones. I think the other ones were blend. Yeah, everything is a blend. So let's start applying this. I click on the object that I want. I hover over the material. Do not select the material, because if you select the material, you deselect the object. So select the object and hover over here, right click, assign material to selection. And we're gonna do the same thing for the other objects. This blue here, I'm actually gonna make this blue a little bit darker. And let's keep applying this. This red could be a little bit darker too. It's gonna be the rooftop. And instead of yellow, let's see, blue. Okay, let's think about it. I don't think I need any yellow. I think I'm gonna change this to a ground, and I'm gonna make this, I don't know, something brownish. And I'm going to select the ground. I think that's too dark. And then we can make our windows blue. And this could be red too. Okay, so we have our little house here. So let me close the hypershade, and we need some light. So the light I'm gonna use, it's gonna be the skylight in Arnold. So I'm gonna go to the Arnold shelf, and I'm gonna click this guy here. And this is gonna create a sky around for us. Let me save this file, and let me go here in the renderer, and I'm gonna click Arnold. This is gonna bring us the play button for the Arnold preview. So if I play here, we get a little preview of the image. So with our sky here, so let's change some stuff here in our light. Let's go to the sky dome, click on the sky dome here, and let's change the intensity to 2. Maybe 3. I think 3 is good. You're gonna notice something is too reflective for a house. Oh, let's turn off the grid so it doesn't get in the way. So let's go back to the hypershade. Remember, I said everything was a blend shader, which was fine for a train because the train is made of metal. But if this is made of wood or concrete, we wouldn't have so much reflection and so much shiny stuff. So we can actually come to each one of those and change from Blinn to Lambert. Let's change each one from Blinn to Lambert. So Lambert, 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 and Lambert. So now it gets a less reflective material. It works better for this little house. So let's create a camera and click here in view, create camera from view. And now we have a camera here on the outliner. So we're gonna change this, change the name to house cam. And if I click the house cam, I can change the focal length. 35 is closer to what the human eye see. We want something a little bit more dramatic, so let's change to 18. And we'll get something a little bit more interesting here for our house here. We want to check the framing of the house, so I can go here in the view, camera settings, and click resolution gate. And I can see exactly where I'm framing the house here. We can organize this. We can get all the plane objects, shift select them, press Ctrl G, and that's gonna create a group. And then we're gonna call this a house. So far so good. I'm gonna stop the preview here, and I'm gonna save the file, and I'm gonna to Arnold, and I'm gonna click this guy here. It's gonna open the Arnold render view, and I'm gonna click play, and it's gonna render the image. If you're not seeing the whole image, press F. It's gonna fit the image in the frame. So this is the final render of the image. We're gonna click File, Save Image, and we're gonna put a name here. Select the folder where you wanna save the image, and we're gonna call this house 01, and it's gonna save in the image file that you have in the render settings. Remember, here in the render settings, that's in this common, it's where you select the format, the image format they're gonna save. In my case, it was JPEG. So now that I saved, I should have the image in my folder here. Let's check, and I do have the image here. So this is our second very simple object created with primitives. Of course, this is just an initial exercise. Later on, you're gonna learn how to do more complex house, so you would have proper windows, proper doors, and much more details. But this is a good introduction to more advanced modeling in Maya, a little bit more advanced than what we did with the train. So this is all for now.